the main problem is not where is the data, it's which is the responsibility of this data. So you can store this data splitting, but you are responsible for this data here in Spain, in Germany, and Russia. Or so. It's the law in Spain, I don't know in France or in Great Britain or Germany.
I think it's cool, but it's like very specific. In my opinion, like this proposal is cool, but I would say is like an implementation very specific for just one use case. It's not like a general problem that you might have. Like we have already backups. This is like a specific implementation for a specific case, and I wouldn't implement specific cases on Zentyal because it's like a general purpose server. So yeah, of course, like sounds cool, but
if anyone wants to implement, we are open to it.
do you want to implement it?
It seems to me that's something that would be better implemented at a file system level, isn't it? Or perhaps not even.
Oh, that's the exact question that I wanted to ask. Would this be possible if we only allow for interchangeable modules regarding file system access? So if you split away the data that Zentyal stores, which is now mostly just in a few spaces in var, it's var, and a few data is in home and a few data is in other places. But if you can manage this in a single mounting point on the Linux server, couldn't you then just use regular Linux file system implementations like, for example, Sun, Storage Area Network, to implement this outside of the scope of Zentyal server? So it's not only just transparent to the end user, but also to the Zentyal management interface itself.
Well, I have an answer for you. Yeah, I think that what you're talking about is something that could be done with ZFS. I don't know if you know that file system, which actually splits data, and I think it does it at block level. I'm not sure because I'm not very experienced on that. But if you did something like that with a distributed file system already, I think that shall be kind of enough. No, this is sorry.
I remember that does exist
And
a
now
Fuse distributed file system for doing exactly this. So I would say if you want to implement this, just do your backup on like on top of this Fuse file system, and that's it. The Fuse implementation will take care of spreading all the data on the different servers, and you have different servers in different countries, and that's it. So this would be like a script or something like that to configure the Fuse file system. That's it.
Meaning that you only need to change a few implementations where Zentyal stores a lot of data on a lot of different places in the operating system. Like, for example, the user data is both stored in home, where your Samba share file data is, and in var MySQL, where a lot of your Zentyal data is.
You can do bind mounts of that mount points into the Fuse distributed file system. That's it. I mean, it's cool, but I would like to discuss other suggestions as well. We have here this one from you.
As we have the author of this
I would
proposal,
like
it's better if he explains
to
by
explain
himself.
your proposal. Yeah,
And well,
go for it.
there doesn't seem to be too much proposals today. The rest of you can present it tomorrow at the same hour, I think. Okay, so Edwin, go ahead.
Well, one of the ideas that I find in the community, in the forums, in the mailing lists, and in the IRC chats, is that a lot of people ask many questions of, can I or can you create a module to add Joomla to Zentyal because my company has a local website or an intranet. And so when will you build a Joomla module? Then the next guy comes around and he asks, hey, I want a WordPress, I want a blog where I can blog to my colleagues and where my colleagues can create a blog and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of questions about a lot of very, let's call it basic web applications that a lot of people want integrated into Zentyal. And that started me thinking, what is wrong with the current situation where we have already Apache installed defaultly? And that's it. Really, with a few minor tricks in the interface, you can even add a DNS name to it, to a virtual host. But outside of this, it requires a lot of tinkering with Zentyal configuration stub files in the Zentyal stubs. And my proposal would be to completely get rid of that, create a single wizard interface that you say, okay, I want to create a new web application. So the first question it asks is, okay, what kind of web application do you want? Should it be PHP, Perl, maybe Tomcat, or some other Ruby on Rails? Or so what modules should we enable in the Apache for you? The next is, do you want a database or not? Or do you want MySQL, or do you want flat files in some storage, or do you want even Postgres or stuff like that? And then the next question, or actually not, the next thing is that it asks, the next thing that it does is create a key in your SSL keys, in your certificate service that Zentyal already provides. So then it's automatically it is protected by SSL. Then the next step that it will do is it will ask you if you want to integrate your Zentyal users to your web application. If you want this, then it creates a separate user for LDAP that only allows the access that this application needs. For example, the token that you use with the single sign-on service. So the only thing that it needs to know from the web application point of view is the information that it requires, really. And the rest, it's all managed by the Zentyal service. And the last step that you have is that it creates these passwords, and it provides an end page, the end of the wizard, showing you all relevant information. So it will tell you what the MySQL username will be for this web application and what the MySQL password will be. It will tell you the modules that are being installed for this web host, this virtual host, sorry. And it will tell you what LDAP user it's generated for you. And whatever you do after that, you just install via the instructions from the manual of the web application that you want to use. So if it supports LDAP, then you go straight ahead. If it doesn't, then you have to get support from that project. And as a last, then if you file every information the right way, you have a pre-installed default Zentyal module in a box out of nothing. I mean, like, you don't need any specific Zentyal code for every web application that there is around. You just need this defaultly web host that is that's automatically almost integrating every single web application product that you have. And that's it.
Cool. Well, I have to say that... Is it working? Ooh, oh. I have to say that I fully agree that our current LAMP stack, it's a bit weird. You can create a virtual host, but you can only use our own certificates for the web server, and you cannot use like commercial certificates, and that's shitty because usually when you want to deploy a website, you want to use a certificate that you might have bought. You can only use one certificate for all the websites. You can use like the subject alternative names, but still you are using Zentyal specific certificate for that. So I think we need to improve that. We need to be able to create virtual hosts on different IP addresses and configure a little bit more Apache, saying what things you can override inside this virtual host configuration, these kind of things. I fully agree. DNS, it's okay, it works, it's cool. We don't have any kind of management of MySQL at the moment. We just tweak a couple of configuration settings, and this could be improved. We could have a very simple web interface where you can create databases and users. So you can create different users for every web application. About the LDAP authentication, it's difficult to create a specific authentication privileges for every application, and I think that's just too complicated. Every web application can do simple bind against LDAP and authenticate itself, and I would say that's enough for most of the cases. And you miss one thing that I think is very important, and it is that right now our FTP module doesn't allow to upload files directly to the document folders of the websites. So you find yourself in a complicated situation if you want to give a webmaster access to upload files to a website. So I think it's very important that we integrate somehow FTP server with a web server, so you can have one user that allows to upload documents to the web root of the domain, so you can upload the website in an easy way. I would say that's it. Definitely hosting web applications in Zentyal, I think it's a common use case. Everything works right now. It would be a matter of improving usability. We don't need too many new features, just maybe some changes on the web server module to allow to listen in different IP addresses and easy the way of deploying certificates and MySQL, and making all this usable, maybe through a wizard, something like that. I like wizards. I think it's a good idea. Like new website, next, finish. I have everything set up and all the information I need to deploy the website. Do you agree? What do you think?
Also, I think the main use case for the web server module in a small business server is mostly probably the intranet sharing, like, or even web applications like Moodle, which is a learning tool for schools, which is obviously it is mostly a software product that can be really self-sufficient as long as you have a base of users that are already managed in the school, like their email addresses, their usernames, passwords, file system access, and etc., etc. And what is really important, that these web applications are somewhat untrusted from a certain perspective. Especially, for example, I'm not trying to make a fool of any product, absolutely not. But when I Google, for example, a Joomla hack, I get a big list, a very big list. And especially if update policies aren't that strict inside your company because you don't have a dedicated IT guy, then you will probably be behind schedule a bit. So the thing that I do want to stress here is that the website created from this wizard, or it's not even a website, it's rather a container that can hold a website, that needs all these features very strictly secured. So it runs under its own user, it has access via its own username that you can very easily disable the username for this application from your LDAP tree, and whatever happens next, if it gets hacked or if it gets exploited, it's easy to disable and let the rest still work. So that if you get root access on this web application, if you can run your own code inside this PHP shell, then still it only restricts the users of this application and not of the entire LDAP tree.
Cool. Like we can talk a lot about this as well, but I would like to give more time to other proposals. Oh yes, we have one here about Captive Portal.
Do you want to explain it by yourself?
Okay.
Perfect.
Come here to the station.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
El papel está por aquí. El papel está
sí.
Okay. Okay, it's a simple idea, but I think that it will be useful for example, a public library that needs to that has a public Wi-Fi and need users to connect for a limited time. So the idea is have a user with limited privileges. This user has to log into Zentyal server and had a simple web interface which from the user can create a temporary user and password for X time, for example, 1 hour. And sorry. Yes, for X time.
Basically,
Yeah.
like.
Sí, a ver, que se pueda un poquillo.
Basically, the idea is of having a website that you can log in into from a wireless network, for example, and once you have authenticated on this website, you can browse the internet for a given time. I don't know, this is exactly what you mean?
And after X time, for example, 1 hour, the user is automatically deleted. And it will be useful, for example, in a company that has a free Wi-Fi zone used by customers, and well, that's all.
Yes, like I think it's really useful, for example, for airports or even in trains. They enforce you to read some policy about the uses to make sure you don't make illegal uses of the network. Yes, you click the checkbox, I accept these rules, and the user is automatically created, as you said, and I think it's a really nice feature.
Well, I have to say that we have already a Captive Portal module. This is more like implementing a different workflow on how the users work. Right now, our Captive Portal only allows to authenticate users existing on LDAP. And here you are talking more about temporal users. Users that they are coming just once and they need to log in, they need to agree with a given policy, and they are deleted after that.
You can create the user on the LDAP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the users could be created on OpenLDAP but deleted after that.
Yeah.
And having a web interface where a non-technical person can create accounts, like for example in a hotel. You go there, you have 24 hours ticket, 24 hours password, and use that.
Print the user into a receipt printer. Yeah, it's for example.
Exactly. Having like a separate interface where you do the exactly. Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. I think Javier had some comment. Come here.
So, some of the commentaries have actually said by Jorge, but I see here the two different scenarios affected. One would be anonymous access to cultivate portal without password, which only would require to see on the screen. That we can implement this. Another a bit more complicated, and that if we implement it, it will be later. Will be the temporal restricted user that could be created by another normal user, for example, in other asset connect. Yes, I agree, but these are two different features, so I will implement first the anonymous one, and then see if we see that there is really interest for the temporal one, I would do the temporal one.
We have a new proposal.
It's just one more use case for something very similar, but yeah, if you have a hotel or a camping or something like that, you may wish that people still has to enter some password, right, before joining the. I mean, even if it's an open Wi-Fi, that was something like what you were talking about. I think still something that you can change. So after a month, people that still need to get to your desk and ask for a new password. So you still have a little control about who can join the network, right? That would be, just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. We have a new proposal.
I have to say that it will be useful to simplify the login to a captive portal. I mean, the pop-up window, some users cannot see that, and then the connection is down after, I don't know what.
Yeah, I agree.
Some users have problems with that.
Yeah. We have a new proposal from Luca.
Okay. Okay, I have 3 ideas for the Zentyal. And the first one is the ability to have real-time two-way file replication for a share on 2 or more Zentyal servers located in different places. This is needed by some of our customers that have offices in different places and need to work on the same files. I think it could be a good idea. It could be difficult to implement, I know, but it's something good if it can be done. The second one is the ability to join, for Zentyal, the ability to join the domain as member without assuming domain controlling role for UTM only purposes, because if I need to use Zentyal only as UTM or firewall, I like to shape the traffic by user, but without Zentyal acting as a controller, domain controller. The third one is the ability to schedule sending PDF reports through email for the service of Zentyal Remote. This is a feature I encountered in some other UTMs, enterprise class UTM. It's interesting feature to have monthly report or weekly report to forward to the CEO of customers, enterprises who like to know how his employees use the network. A lot of things I know.
No, but the second one is interesting, and I think Samuel can tell us something about it. What do you think? Because he's the Samba module developer.
Yeah, the domain member role is something that we are going to support in the future. It's a matter of time because the priority was to support domain controller and additional domain controller. we are going to support it in the future. But anyway, in last time that I read the Samba 4 wiki, they say that domain member role in the Samba binary, that is which we are using now, is in the infancy. So we have to wait for the proper support before implementing it.
Anyway, if you just want to not allow to act as a domain controller, shouldn't be enough to close the ports. I mean, those kind of NetBIOS ports and the Samba LDAP port, if you close them in the firewall, no machines are going to, if you try to join to the domain, it's going to say there is no domain controller. So it's the same as if it's not acting as a domain controller. For the users, it makes no difference. I think it's a good workaround.
I would like to discuss the first point. Basically, what you were proposing here was having high availability on Zentyal. Having high availability on Zentyal is a frequent discussion inside of a company. Probably we are going to walk towards it. Some things they are going to be implemented for 3.2. Implementing high availability in every module is different. Probably we will provide like configuration syncing between servers, how you implement high availability on Samba or on firewall or proxy. This is something that will come afterwards.
We don't have more time. We need to go upstairs to the awards ceremony. So let's go. And after that, there is a cocktail, right?